If you are dipping into the non-dual or universal, you are developing spiritual resiliency. And just remember that from that perspective, we are always already resilient. Not in a bypass denial way, whole nother workshop, but it's fact. It's fact when we can get there. We're going to do a process. We're going to do a voice dialogue process, big mind process, very simple process, and we're going to kind of touch base with these different aspects of ourselves in the context of resiliency, and then we're going to see if we can't end up in the 20 minutes that we have. We're going to see if we can't end up 25 minutes in that aspect of ourselves that is always already resilient. Okay. So this is a very simple process. I'm going to ask you to raise your hand to speak. So this is a group dialogue process. I'm going to ask you to speak to different aspects of the self. When we do this, please identify as that aspect and talk about yourself in third person. So for example, resiliency. I'm the voice of resiliency. And my job is to help Miles dive into the imbalance and then to eventually come out of it. So what I just did, I modeled that I'm taking the aspect of resiliency as the voice of resiliency and talking about Miles. Okay, we're not going to do that. That was just an example, but that's the way we work at it. So putting yourself in third person and speaking as that aspect. That's the voice dialogue process. How we're going to do this, we're going to raise our hands, and like I said, I can't see everybody on the screen, so I'm going to ask you to put your hands up and we will go to you as you put your hands up, okay? It's a simple process. You'll get it. I do encourage people to participate with your voices by speaking, but if you prefer not to, it's okay, but do it inwardly nonetheless. So everybody, can you please take a deep breath? And let's see, let's sit for just a moment and drop in. Everything that we said before, just kind of let it go. And see if you can drop into your body. And drop into the breath. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to speak from a voice by identifying with this voice. Please allow me to speak to the voice of stress. Okay, I'm not trying to stress you out. I'm saying, oh, let's connect for a moment. Oh, I'm stressed. Everybody take a deep breath and allow me to speak to the voice of stress. And as a group, please say this out loud, even though the microphones are not open. As a group, who am I speaking to? Stress. Okay, I didn't see everybody's lips moving. I'm going to do it one more time. As a group, who am I speaking to? Stress. Very good. So as stress, working with the notion, this kind of, this idea that every aspect of the self has a function, has a purpose. As the voice of stress, and please raise your hands for the answer, what's your job? What's your job? As the voice of stress, what's your job? I want to see, okay, I'll go ahead and open up Louise's. Yes, Louise. Louise, you're going to have to open your own mic.
I'm here to protect you and to keep you on high alert.
Great. Protect me or to protect Louise?
Protect Louise.
Great, good. So you protect Louise and you keep Louise on high alert. Beautifully, thank you. Thanks, Louise. Also, I can see people in this front page, but I want to see your, if you can do the blue hand, it's better. Julia, yes.
Yes, I noticed when you said take the breath, Julia noticed, she did feel this high frequency kind of buzz going on, and then you named it as stress. So that was really good because I felt it in myself, and then you named it. So okay. That was great.
Great. So instead of saying I felt it in myself, speak as stress, because stress is like for Julia, stress is something that happens to her. But I want you to speak as stress. Like Louise said, I protect Louise. So what's your job as stress?
I'm here, Julia, to warn you that you may need to be super vigilant or extra aware of what's happening around you.
Beautiful, awesome, great. David, as stress, can you open your mic, David?
Yep.
David Brown. Yeah, as stress, what's your job?
My job is to help David perform to the best of his ability.
Okay, good. So you're concerned about David's performance, peak performance, best of his ability.
Yeah.
Beautiful. There are no wrong answers. Let's go to Amy Pandolfi. Amy, what's your job as stress?
My job as stress is to keep Amy physically safe and also to ensure her emotional and social health stays in check.
Very good. This theme of protection and keeping the self safe is coming back. Is it Rach?
Yeah.
Yeah, your mic's open.
Hi. Yeah. So I'm stressed, and right now I'm communicating very effectively with Rachel. I've raised her heart rate, letting her know that this is one of my jobs. I work very, very hard for it, and quite often she doesn't pay any attention to me whatsoever. So I'm very much appreciating this time.
Okay, so since she doesn't pay attention to you, now she's got your ear. You've got her ear.
Oh
Tell
my,
me,
yes.
What kind of things do you pay attention to in Rachel's life?
I pay attention to everything. I'm extremely vigilant.
Okay.
I watch everything that she does, and she ignores me a lot of the time. And this moment right now, in her body, I'm doing things to show her that I'm here and that I'm present and that I'm not an enemy.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. Yeah. Yeah, because in the context of resiliency, if she's ignoring you, then that for sure is going to delay the recovery process, for sure. And your message to her, can you maybe repeat again? What's your best advice for Rachel so she can stop ignoring you?
I'm here to help, and I really value it and appreciate it if she would listen to me more often.
That's beautiful. Yeah, awesome. Awesome. Let's go to Faye. Faye, your mic's open. As stress, I'm going to change the question a little bit. How do you relate to destabilizing situations?
Am I speaking as stress or?
Yeah, I'm going to use everybody's names just because we have to here. I can't point to you, but I'm asking you as Faye. I'm asking Faye, but please speak as stress.
I show up in Faye by taking her stomach and twisting it up and showing her that the situation that she is in is threatening, somehow crossing a boundary.
Yeah, and I'll ask the same question that Rachel came up. How does Faye relate to you?
Oh, she listens really well. Oh, he does not ignore me. Oh, no.
Okay, great. All right, great. So you and Rachel, you and Faye, maybe you and Rachel do, I don't know, but you and Faye have a good relationship. Okay, great. Very good. And there was one more hand. Let's do Krista, and then we're going to make a shift. Krista, your mic is open. And now it's open.
Yeah. I'm stressed, and I show up in Krista as a sense of unbalance and dizziness. I make her feel alarmed. I make her feel like lying down or sitting down and not moving.
Okay.
And
how does
Krista reacts to me sometimes by giving in and sometimes by doing a little extra self-care to make me to let me know that she heard me.
Okay. Oh, so giving in means that you kind of dominate her, and
yes.
The self-care means that there's kind of a cooperation happening between you.
Yes.
Yeah, beautiful. Nice. Yeah, thank you, Krista. Isn't that awesome? So this right away, stress comes up, and the self, in a way, the self is in conflict with itself, and by giving it voice, we're already starting to kind of create those bridges. And everybody's stress for everybody here, since it's a dualistic voice, that means that my stress and your stress are different. Certain things stress me, certain things stress you. It's going to be different, but all of the answers are correct. So since everybody here that showed up to this Embodying Resiliency conference, I'm assuming, massive assumption here, but I'm assuming that we all have a practice and that our practice takes us with choice, with consciously, takes us to the edge of our comfort zone where we activate development. I want to speak to the edge, the voice of the edge of the comfort zone. The voice of the edge of the comfort zone or developmental boundary. Okay, everybody take a deep breath. And I want to speak to the edge of the comfort zone. Not in the comfort zone, but you're also not out of it. You're right there on the edge. As a group, who am I speaking to? Great. All the mics are closed, but I didn't see everybody's lips moving. Kat, I didn't see your lips moving. Everybody, who am I speaking to? The edge of the comfort zone. Beautifully. Okay. So as the edge of the comfort zone, what's your function? What's your job? Somebody would like to raise your hand. If I see it, I'll do it. If I'll call on you, but otherwise, as the edge of the comfort zone, what's your job? No hands, no jobs. There we go. Tammy, your mic's open.
Hi, I'm the edge of the comfort zone. And my job is to help Tammy find that next thing, that space that is beyond, whatever that is. It could be a skill, it could be a paradigm, it could be a lot of things, but it's that next step forward.
Great. So Tammy's here. She's in the comfort zone, but something, for some reason, it's getting uncomfortable, or she's there and there's something on the other side. She has a notion. So she comes close to you and you help her find that next thing. Yeah,
I'm the bridge so that she can move from one place to the next.
And she becomes more whole. She becomes more. She expands.
Becomes more.
She becomes more. Beautifully, beautifully. Let's go to Kate Johnson. Kate, your mic is open.
Hiya. So as the edge of the comfort zone, my role is to help Kate recognize when she needs to pause, or perhaps when she needs to pause, or perhaps even take a loving, respectful step back.
Okay, great, fantastic. Let's go to Ulrike. Yeah, Ulrike, what's your job?
My job is to make sure that Ulrike understands that here's the edge and she's leaving the comfort zone. I'm here that she noticed it, that there will be a change to make her being careful.
To be careful, to be prepared, and to be careful, and to expect that some process is happening here.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, great. We're going to go to Aneta. And Aneta, I'm going to ask you a different question. You can still answer, but also could you connect the question to the question of how do you relate to stress?
As the edge of the comfort zone?
Yeah.
As the edge of the comfort zone, I relate to stress. It depends if the stress is coming up in the moment, or if the stress is something ongoing. If the stress is something ongoing, then I take it as a sign that, as Kate just said, to maybe, or as the edge of the comfort zone from Kate just said, to step back a little bit and maybe, watch out and look at it again. What is the next step? And if it's acute, then it's like a moment to gain energy for the next step.
Beautiful. So there's a discernment there.
Yeah.
That, like, if it's just a momentary thing, you can, or if it's a relatively momentary thing, you work with it. But if it's acute or chronic, then you kind of reassess and step back.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's a wisdom to you. Yeah. And this is a wisdom that also relates to resilience. Wow, a lot of hands up here. Okay, Renata.
Okay. I also, I'm offering a choice to Renate, and there's also, she can stand right on me and also rely on me and look out of the comfort zone and then decide whether to take the step. And I she can hold onto me and step back if it's not the right time or the wrong kind of stress. So stress calls her out of the comfort zone, and I say, wait a minute, get right to me, take the handle I've got for you, and be careful, care for yourself, and you can come back and I will be there and take you back in. And even if you want, close my door whenever you want that, when stress is too long, when stress is too, not acute, but chronic, or when it's not the right time to deal with it yet, although the body and the mind is showing other signals.
Great, great. So again, you have this discerning wisdom. Fantastic, thank you. Nadia.
Hi.
As the comfort zone, what's your job?
Yeah, as the limit of my comfort zone, of Nadia's comfort zone, I feel it's my role to alarm her of like dangerous situations and tell her to take action.
Fantastic.
As a survival mechanism.
Great. So you're worried. Okay. So again, this is more of the protection thing. And if something gets dangerous, you err on the side of protection.
Yes, except that Nadia doesn't listen to me. So basically, she never really acts. She just closes off and avoids the situation.
Okay. So when you say take action, you mean rather than kind of going into some type of freeze or paralyzation, you encourage her to stay on her feet and to adapt and to adjust.
Yeah, to set the boundary.
Awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. Great. Thank you, Nadia. Let's go to Jay Rothman. Hey, Jay.
Hi, Miles.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. So speaking to Jay from this space, on the liminal space, on the comfort zone, on the one side, I want to say to Jay, when you're stressed and tense, you're okay. Stay there. Don't rush to the release. It will come. And if you stay in the tension, it will come in a way that's more creative than if you rush out of it and try to force that new beginning.
Beautiful.
So
So
it's
again,
comforting.
Yeah, please.
It's comforting, but it's not very easy.
No, it's no, it's not easy. Therein lies the rub. But you have this discerning wisdom to you. You can actually, and you take care of Jay. You take care of him.
I try. He's pretty stubborn, but I work at it.
Great. Okay, just because I'm looking at the time, we're going to shift into another voice, okay? If those who have their hands, David, I'm going to come to you next if you want. But if you had your hands up, keep your hands up. Take a deep breath, everybody. Because we know what stress is and we know what the edge of that comfort zone is. There could be a lot more of aspects that would help us ease into this. But now I want to kind of make a big shift. And I want to speak to the voice that is already resilient. The voice that is already resilient. Take a deep breath. And there's a certain amount of, if it doesn't work for you, there's a certain amount of fake it till you make it with this process, but just trust the process and allow me to speak to the voice that is already resilient. As a group, who am I speaking to? Already resilient. Beautiful. So we're going to go to David first, and then Sarah, and then Julia. I see you, Julia. David, as the voice of already resilient, what's your function?
My function is to, when you're at your edge, for you to grow into and beyond your edge.
Beautiful. So you're holding David inside of his edge, and you're also on the outside holding him outside the edge to help him to grow into you. Oh, beautiful. Nice. Then we'll go Sarah, and then I'm going to go to Julia Clark. Sarah.
Well, it's really hard for me to talk to myself.
Can you say that again?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. It's really hard for me to talk to myself as pieces of myself, but I'm glad you said that. To like bake it to me. The voice that is always I guess the purpose is to remind me to keep going.
Okay, great. So as the voice that's always already resilient, you remind Sarah to keep going. Okay, great. I do want to acknowledge, we just don't have time I could help you with this in terms of the first comment you make. We just don't have time in this context. So I just kind of work with it, play with it a little bit, and then see what happens. Okay, Sarah? Great, yeah. Julia Clark.
I laughed so much when you asked that question, and I just, as the voice that's always resilient, I knew that I could tell Julia to chill out, relax, and just trust.
And just trust, yeah. How is Julia? Does she sometimes not chill out?
I think I definitely have a sort of high frequency nervousness that people seem to pick up.
Wait a second. Whoa. You? Who am I speaking to?
Julia.
No, I don't want to. Julia, I love Julia. Yeah, good. Julia has.
Oh, as the voice that's always resilient.
Yeah, you don't have to repeat it, but as long as you just hold that voice. So Julia has this high frequency?
Yeah, she does, I think, yeah.
Great. And you're there to tell her what? Can you tell us once again?
Well, it would be the same, chill out, relax, and trust. Have I misunderstood what you're asking?
No, not at all. It's a little clunky in Zoom to do this process, but it's perfect.
Freeze with my hands. I'm not sure if we're in sequence.
Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Nadia, then Kat.
Yes.
Sorry, Nadia, you're gonna have to open your own mic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's open right now.
Yeah.
So I have to talk as the voice of, or as myself, or
who am I speaking to?
You're speaking through the voice of resilience.
Always. Please allow me to speak to the voice of always already resilient.
Okay, I'm always already resilient. So I'm here to remind Nadia that even if she failed at being resilient in her life, she still has to go through, even if moments are going to be hard.
That's awesome. Now, can I ask you a question? Always already resilient? Is there, I mean, you talked about Nadia, even if she failed at resilience in life. As the voice of always already resilience, is there such a thing as failing at resilience? From this aspect? For you? From the voice of always means eternal, already means now, resilience. Okay. Is there such a thing as failing at resilience? Yeah, that's right. We go through cycles and we collapse for sure. Oh my God. And sometimes the collapse goes a long time. But for us, always already resilient, yeah, just take a breath and kind of let that in. And this is going to have to be the last voice, I'm afraid. But Kat, yes, as the voice of always already resilience, what's your job?
My job is to not get distracted by Rach dancing, but to wrap Kat in a big blanket and tell her to stop operating out of panic.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah, nice.
I really love this exercise. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome, Kat. Lisa, last one. Since your hand is up, this will really be the last one. Lisa.
Hi. My role is to remind Lisa that she already has the strength and the resources to overcome anything within her.
Beautiful. Always already has the resources to overcome anything. From an ego, from a developmental person, our personalities, wow, we don't, some things, it's beyond me. I don't have the resources. But from here, we always have those resources. And those are both true. Those are both true. It'll drive the intellectual or the egoic mind nuts, but they're true. From here, doesn't everybody see that that's just true? That that's a fact? And yeah, we need to do the work with our individual selves, but it's a fact. That's how it is. I've gone hopelessly, well, not hopelessly, but a little bit over time here. So I just want to everybody take a deep breath and allow me to speak to the voice of the fully integrated. That means we integrate stress, the comfort zone. These are the only voices we work. Stress, comfort zone, and the always already resilient. Fully integrated, that we can move in and out of those and freely function, that we can function the fully integrated and fully functional human being that has a name. And you can see the name written on all those little windows. What's your name? Julia, Tammy, Lisa, Jay, Sarah, Mandy, Joe, Nadia, David. So that's a little bit of a taste of the Big Mind process and in the work of developing spiritual resiliency. Any type of spiritual practice, if you are dipping into the non-dual or universal, you are developing spiritual resiliency. And just remember that from that perspective, we are always already resilient. Not in a bypass denial way, whole nother workshop, but it's a fact. It's a fact when we can get there. And I love you all. Mwah. Good luck with the rest of the day, and may your embodied resilience continue to grow, develop to the point where you integrate, and that you remember that you are always already resilient. Thank you, everybody. All the best.